these interest rates coming down like this, I know that we're seeing buyers starting to come off the fence and jump in. We've sent you several applications this past week. Are you, since people are starting to get ready to come back in the market, what are some things that they need to make sure that they're avoiding? Like maybe 5 things that they need to make sure that they're avoiding as they're getting ready
Round
to.
about 5.
Just round about 5. Yeah, just
Yeah.
just an arbitrary number.
A bonus.
Yes, 5 and a bonus. How about 5 and a bonus? Can I hear?
5 and a bonus. Yeah, exactly. Like this week, there's a lot of activities, a lot of new applications coming in. I think people are done with vacations, with holidays, they exhale and, they feel more confident in buying. I don't know, maybe it also has to do something with the debates and people making up their minds. I don't know, because they were saying that a lot of people are pausing before the elections. So, but I see a lot of activities right now.
Yeah.
So it's a good sign, but it can also create some competition as well. So
Yep.
few things, 5 biggest mistakes that people do while they are.
I thought it was gonna be 5. Like, just that's it. She's picking on me over here.
Oh, yeah, that they do while they're in application or right before when they getting ready to apply.
Yep.
Open new credit card
Mm.
trade lines or any trade lines, buying a car. I bought new Tesla, my monthly payment is $1,000, so now let's go buy a house. And that's gonna lower their buying power by a lot. So hold on to opening any credit cards, or sometimes even closing cards could affect qualifications, because it could temporarily lower the credit score, and with that is, you might qualify for less desirable program or get less desirable terms, and price will be lower because of that. So just don't do anything, with your credit.
It doesn't always follow logic, right? Like the credit
Right.
score. And we did a video with you about this, a scenario that maybe we should put a link in here
Mhm.
to that video, because it's like people think, oh, well, I'll close these out and I'll pay stuff off. It's going to certainly improve my credit score and everything. And that's not always the case. And so I think definitely
Exactly.
link that to it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So whatever is pertaining to credit, just like I say, always don't self-medicate yourself or self-diagnose.
Yeah.
Talk to the consultant and see if it's okay to do it or not, and then make the right decision. So the second thing is, we'll also look at assets, right? Where the money coming from for down payment and closing costs. Try not to spend money because you might need it. You might need it for the down payment or closing cost, or if you spend money by using credit card, again, it goes back to number 1, where you could shoot yourself in the foot and qualify for lower amount because of that.
Yep.
Deposit cash or unverifiable assets. We'll look at 2 months of bank statements, whatever deposits come in there, besides the, income, large deposits, we're gonna question where the money coming from. Cash, in most cases, 99.9% cases, is not acceptable source of assets, because you can't really track it where the money came from. So if you have $10,000 in cash and you need to bring $10,000 to the table, you deposit this 10,000 to your account. For us, you don't have money. You have zero money, because we can't verify where they came from.
That's another don't depend on logic thing. It's like, I figure if I walk into the closing table with a suitcase of $10,000 in it, that's
It's like,
gold.
of course, this is cash.
Yeah, what are
This
you
is better
talking
than a
about?
check. This is better than it's cash,
Yeah.
right? And it doesn't work like that.
There's so many nuances to the lending game that it's like you
Yeah.
always have to talk to that consultant.
Yeah,
Well, and I want to actually clarify the term of cash, because in a lot of cases, people refer to cash as checking, savings accounts, something that is liquid, right? Something that
Mhm.
readily available. We refer to actually hard dollar bills, cash, mattress money that you put money aside in the safe.
Yeah.
So that type of cash that is not acceptable.
So,
Yeah.
so
So just
just
want to clarify.
yeah, and just real quick, that makes no sense, and now you don't have to go into a lot of depth on this, but why? I got 10 grand. Why?
I'm
What's
guessing mortgage fraud, right?
yeah,
Like that you have to be on the lookout for mortgage fraud or from it coming from any kind of illegal means,
Yeah.
and that would be,
or maybe a high-end loan that's not reported yet, and they took the cash from this loan.
right,
Yeah,
Tatiana?
what's going on with it?
Right, so yeah, in most cases, that is because of the, was it, did you borrow money from somewhere and you need to pay back now?
Okay.
Where did it come from? Money laundering, that's another thing. So yeah, that's what we look at.
We were
Okay,
right.
we were
High
right.
five.
We got, thank you.
You're so smart, guys. You don't even need me.
It's almost like we've talked to you about this before.
All
Well,
right.
I'm glad that you remember what I say, so.
That's right. That's right. All right. What's number 4? I'm excited.
Okay, so number 4, stop
Oh,
working or work less.
Okay, so make sure you don't stop working or work less. I have to put this in context.
yeah, don't do that.
I'm like, yes, I'm getting in there.
That's number 4 biggest mistake.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you stop working and you're making zero money, you can get a mortgage for $0, basically.
Or even changing careers, right? Or changing jobs or something like that. Like any big change like that.
Any change to just I always say change to those 3 pieces of puzzle that we have to look at: credit, assets, and income. Talk to the consultant before you do anything. When you change in jobs, it could be totally fine. You just need to double check with the consultant. You
Yep.
change the profession, you might have to wait for a few months before we would consider that income stable. We need to make sure that you really like what you're doing now. If you were a teacher for 20 years and now you're a firefighter or something like that, do you really like it? Are you gonna stay in there? We want to
Yeah.
make sure that you're stable in this type of profession. Working less could be problematic, because if you work full-time and now you're part-time, you have variable income, and we have to wait certain period of time before we can use that variable income. Or if you did have variable income before, and we always have to average it over 2 years, and before you were working a lot and now you're working less, and your average income is lower now, so that could create a problem. So yeah, just check with the lender before doing anything like that.
Gotcha.
And the 5th one is don't change income structure. If
Mhm.
you were on W-2 and you became independent contractor, maybe with the same company, but now you're on 1099, where you paying taxes yourself, that is a problem for a mortgage, meaning that you're not gonna be able to buy right away. You'd have to wait. And
And what's interesting about that is that you could even have an increase in income going from W-2 to 1099, let's say, but that's still
Right.
logically, it's like, yes, I can qualify for more house, but
Yeah,
mortgage wise, which is illogical in a lot of ways, it
Yeah.
hurts you.
And the reason being is because when you're on 1099, like I mentioned, you pay taxes yourself.
Yeah.
And, here we do our taxes, if you're self-employed, you write off expenses, you pay you pay taxes on the lower income this way. So it's something that is very beneficial for self-employed people. But when we lend the money, we go by income that you pay in taxes on. So when you're on W-2, you paying all the way, whatever you make, those taxes you paying on. So when you're self-employed, we also go by income that you pay in taxes on. So that's
Makes
only
sense.
fair. And
Yeah.
that's how we calculate it. That's why if you change into 1099, we need to see that tax returns to see if you had to write off any expenses or not.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the bonus one is my favorite.
Yes.
Fancy.
The biggest mistake, do opposite of what your mortgage consultant.
Yes.
Yep. See that all the time.
It happens a lot. I say, please don't do this. 5 minutes later, they call me, I just did it.
Yeah. Because it's not like, what you do, it's not like this one and done thing. I'm going to take this person's, all their information and plug it into this box and it's going to spit out exactly the only one right answer, right? It's like what you do, there are so many different potential answers, outcomes for so many different scenarios that it's like, it just doesn't make sense. You're almost like one of those old school operators. Remember when they were at the switchboards and they were plugging all the things like this? It's like you're doing that and nobody who doesn't do that like you do, you live and breathe it. No one would be able to know what switch to plug in where or anything, no matter how much sense it seems to make. So you go, switchboard operator to the stars.
You go, analogy girl.
Give it to me, Tatiana. But
I
yeah,
love your analogies. I don't know. You need to write a book.
I should write a children's book with all the analogies. When your parents say this, it's kind of like,
That should be the name of the book. It's kind of like.
yeah,
There you
kinda
go.
like.
Maybe you should do that. It's a very good idea.
You should write it down.
Yes, I think I need a new career. A career
Shit.
change. I'm gonna change my job, but not before I talk to my loan consultant when I'm ready to buy a house.
That's right. That's right. All right. Well, thank you. I know we've covered this before, but I really appreciate you kind of refreshing it for the buyers entering the market
Yeah.
now, because it's
And
timely.
we'll circle back to it again in a few months too, because we'll have a whole new buyer pool that will need to hear exactly this.
That's right. That's right.
Exactly.
All right.
Yes.
Well, thank you guys. Always nice to see you.
You too.
How do they find you?
Oh, yes. Do you have your
Yeah,
slide?
call me. 571-245-3000.
Yes. All right. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.